Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a major update in the heartbreaking case of 2-year-old Genesis Nova Reid from Alabama, Enterprise, Alabama to be correct. For weeks, people have been searching for answers about what happened to this little girl. The case started as a missing child investigation, but now authorities say they believe they know what happened. In a major development, Genesis's mother, Adrienne Reid, has now been charged with capital murder and abuse of a corpse. This is a tragic and disturbing update in a case that has shaken an entire community. Before we get into the details, everything, discussed in this video is based on publicly reported information and law enforcement statements. The purpose of this video is to share updates and raise awareness about the case, because at the center of this story is a toddler who deserved so much more. Now, Genesis Nova Reid was just 2 years old, a baby, a toddler who should have been playing, learning, growing, and surrounded by love. She lived in Enterprise, Alabama, and according to police, she was originally reported missing in the early mornings of February 16th. Her mother told police she woke up around 3 a.m., checked on Genesis, and discovered she was gone. The report said the front door was open and the child was missing from her bed. That triggered an urgent search involving local police, state investigators, and federal agencies. Shortly after the investigation began, authorities started noticing something unusual. Investigators said the timeline didn't seem to match what witnesses were telling them. Neighbors and people in the community reported that they had not seen Genesis for weeks before she was reported missing. That immediately raised serious questions. If the child hadn't been seen for weeks, why was she reported missing at 3 a.m. on that specific day? Police began conducting interviews, collecting evidence, and looking deeper into the timeline surrounding Genesis's disappearance. As investigators continued to look into the case, Genesis's mother, Adrienne Reid, was arrested and charged with false reporting to law enforcement. Authorities said they believed the information given about the disappearance was inaccurate. At that point, the case was still being treated as a missing child investigation, and police were continuing to search for Genesis. But as time passed, investigators began uncovering evidence that changed the direction of the case. Now, in the latest and most serious development in the case, authorities have now charged Adrienne Reid with capital murder and abuse of a corpse. According to investigators, they believe Genesis was actually killed much earlier than when she was reported missing. Authorities allege the child was killed around Christmas Day. Investigators say they obtained video evidence that allegedly shows Adrienne Reid throwing a duffel bag into a dumpster. Police believe the duffel bag contained the child's remains. How disgusting is that? How disgusting of a mother could she have been? That beautiful little girl. You see her little face? Like, come on now. How? Because of this is no longer being investigated as a missing child case. It is now being treated as a homicide investigation. This is incredibly tragic development.
Adrienne Reid, as Chief said, has been formally charged with 1 count of capital murder for intentionally causing the death of a child under the age of 14, pursuant to Code of Alabama 13A 540 subsection A15. She has also been charged with 1 count of abuse of a corpse pursuant to Code Section 13A 1113. That is a Class C felony under the laws of the state of Alabama. She's now charged with a total of 3 felonies as a part of this investigation that began on February 16th.
Despite the charges, there is still one heartbreaking reality in this case. Genesis has not been found. Investigators believe the duffel bag may have been taken to a landfill after it was placed in the dumpster. Authorities are now planning searches in the landfill where the trash from the location would have been transported. These searches are extremely difficult because landfills contain massive amounts of waste and material, but investigators say they are doing everything possible to locate Genesis so she can be brought home. The community of Enterprise and people across the country have been following this case closely, as have I. Many people held vigils and awareness events hoping Genesis would be found safe. Instead, the investigation has taken a devastating turn. Cases involving children are always extremely difficult, and they impact entire communities. People are now waiting to see what happens next in the legal process and hoping that Genesis can still be located. And from what has been said, they will be seeking the death penalty. At the end of the day, beyond the headlines, beyond the investigation, and beyond the legal case, there was a 2-year-old child. Genesis Nova Reid deserved the chance to grow up. She deserved love, safety, and a future. Right now, investigators are still working to locate her remains and continue building their case. As more updates come out, we will continue to follow this story and share this sad information. If you want to help keep awareness going, share this video and keep Genesis's name visible, because every child deserves justice. And this beautiful, beautiful little girl, Genesis Nova Reid, deserves justice. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe.